Every single video on this channel is going to make you smarter. That's why you should subscribe and hit the bell icon. The question about marriage is, as a man, what do you have to do for your wife? Like, what do you have to change about yourself? And I know it's a very broad question, so I'm asking you everything from, like, do you have to give up on some of your own space? I'm sure you have to give it time, you have to give it energy. But what are those things that you only realize as a guy after you're married?
So the first thing I'd say is, and I talk about this often, that there are 4 important decisions you make in life. And so anyone who's listening or watching right now, when you're making any of these decisions, don't rush them, don't do them out of pressure, and don't do them quickly. Like, really think about them. So the first one is how you feel about yourself. That is one of the biggest decisions you make, is how you feel about your own self. The second most important decision you make is what you do for money. The third most important decision you make is who you give your love to and who gives you love. So this question that we're talking about. And the fourth one is how you serve the world. These are not decisions that should be made out of any other reason apart from personal contemplation. So the first thing I'd say is, when you like someone, that's the time to really think about it. So let's go right to the beginning of it, right? It's like, don't wait till marriage to figure out what you're going to have to change, because maybe then you'll have to change something you don't want to change. So when I met my wife, Radhi Devlukia, if anyone follows her on Instagram, then you know
I follow on Instagram. I love her content.
She's amazing. She's the best. And so when me and her met, we actually met before I became a monk. When we weren't dating, I just knew her. And then we've been together now for 7 years and married for 4 years. So we've spent a bit of time together in our life. And when we first met and we were attracted to each other and we liked each other, I was really honest with her about who I was and what was important to me in life. And this is the first step. If you don't know who you are and what's really important to you in life, then you'll never know who's right for you, and no one can ever know if they're right for you either. And so I was really honest. I said to her, my purpose, even though at that time I wasn't a content creator, I said, my purpose is to serve people. I want to teach. I want to share. I want to focus on developing this part of my life. And this is my number one priority in life. And she said to me that her number one priority was her family, her parents, her sister, she loves her mom and dad and her grandmother. And she was like, that's her heart in life. And I said, I promise you that I will always help you get closer to them. And you promise me that you'll always help me get closer to this. And so it was a really honest conversation. Now, that doesn't mean that it's been easy, but it means that we had a direction from the beginning. So now, if I had a priority with my purpose that was coming up and I couldn't go to her family event, she respected that and supported me. And if I had a big event and she couldn't come with me because she had family stuff, then I respected her and loved her, because the goal of the relationship was get her closer to her goal and she helps me get closer to my goal. Not that we trade our goals and just work on each other. And so actually what you're giving up on is your ego and your sense of control. That's really what a relationship is. Because the ego says, well, she's my wife, she should come with me to this event and see me on stage and me giving these lectures and blah, blah, blah. But that's not true. The truth is, if I love her, I should be helping her get closer to what she matters to her. And same with her, she would support me. So really what you're giving up is that sense of proprietorship, that sense of ego and control, because love means understanding the person's goal in love. So to me, that's what really has been the guiding force of our marriage. And that may change also. So I check in with Radhi and she'll check in with me. Like my goal has pretty much stayed the same. But if hers changes or evolves, I have to change and evolve with that if I love her. That's the point. And then obviously there are day-to-day things like space and all of that kind of stuff. But again, if you have a very clear guiding light, if you have a very clear direction, all of these things kind of just work themselves out. And those are the things, again, you have to discuss. Like I always said to Radhi that I'm a terrible cook. You don't even want me to try and cook. Like, I'm just terrible. Like, that's not my strength. It's not my skill. And that was just me being honest with her. That doesn't mean I wouldn't if she wanted me to, but because that's her passion. That's her purpose and her passion. So she's happy to to do that. And so I think it's really important in a relationship, beginning or middle or wherever you are, to just be honest about who you are and what you want, and that person to be honest about who they are and what they want. And remember, you're just trying to help them get closer to their goal. It's not about you compromising, because what ends up happening in relationships is both the man and the woman, or the man and the man, or the woman and the woman, everyone compromises. And when you compromise, then you always feel in your heart like, oh, because of them, I gave up what was important to me. And that doesn't build a loving relationship.
Yeah, 100%.